Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Universal You. The time I am reading at this moment is 11:11. For those of you who know what that means, I'm really looking forward to sharing with you today. All right, I'm just going to pick up from where we left off on the previous video. I'll give you a bit of a summary. There was a comet. There was a bit of an upset by the Martians. There was the construction of a synthetic macabre, and there was the ripping open of the lower dimensional frequencies of planet Earth, which resulted in these beings from an alternate version of planet Earth possessing people, and all-out catastrophe all over Atlantis. That's a bit of a summary of what I spoke about in the previous video, and now I'd like to continue. All right. At the moment of the synthetic macabre failure, there was about 1,600 ascended masters on Earth. These are the original immortals, the first pantheon, the Lemurians, who acquired immortality through interdimensional tantra, which I spoke about previously. They did everything that they could to heal the situation. And they implemented their healing on every dimensional frequency that they were able to. They healed about 90 to 95% of the situation, but people still found these lower dimensional beings living in their bodies. Anyway, it was at this time that many strange diseases started to occur on Atlantis, and the social structures and financial structures completely deteriorated. The entire continent of Atlantis went into a state of survival. Yeah. The Ascended Masters, as I've said, were the highest levels of consciousness on the planet at that time. But they were children in comparison to the events that were first forced upon them. So what they did was they called in a higher dimensional assistance. Multiple light beings from various star systems, including the Galactic Command, intervenes to assist this planet after the fall. As a result of this situation was reviewed on many levels of consciousness throughout multidimensional reality. Now, similar events have happened before on other planets, but the concern of these higher dimensional helpers, if you will, was getting us back on track after the fall. And it had to be done very, very quickly. What they wanted being higher dimensional life beings was a situation that would heal the whole earth and all of its inhabitants. That's important. They wanted a situation that would heal all all of the inhabitants of Earth. From a metaphysical point of view, existence is consequential to the experience of reality. And that's a very far out way of saying that life is precious. All life is precious. They knew that the only way to get us back into a state of cosmic consciousness was to enact an experiment. This state, cosmic consciousness, is a state in which reality is perceived from the absolute perspective of eternal love. These beings knew that we had to be in this state by the end of the 13,000 year cycle. And if we weren't, we would have destroyed ourselves. And we've come pretty close, but we've made it anyway. What's important to understand is that we could have reached this state naturally, but they wanted to enact a way to assist us to reach this state quickly. Basically, one may say that all minds are individualized manifestations of universal mind experiencing itself. So from a cosmic consciousness or higher dimensional point of view, this was equivalent to accidentally dropping your child on its head and wanting it to regain consciousness. Anyway, these higher consciousness beings wanted to bring us back into a state of cosmic consciousness. Because, well, they love us. And they wanted to do this as soon as possible. All right, it was decided, as I've said, to try an experiment that usually works in these types of situations. The Ascended Masters were given the appropriate instructions, and it was carried out successfully. This was a very unique experiment in which it would involve us experimenting on ourselves, a galactic project, if you will. What's very interesting about this, at least I find this particularly interesting, is that the Syrians believed that we would make it, and they wouldn't have gotten permission from the Galactic Command if they had thought otherwise. Now, light beings are higher dimensional in nature, and they have the capacity to peer through space-time. And the fact that they thought that we would make it is really profound. Unfortunately, we have. We've entered a state of harmony, of eternal love, of unity consciousness between the mother, the divine masculine, the divine feminine, and of course, the divine child. All right, in the next video, I'm going to go into a bit of detail about what this experiment actually entails. I'm going to be sharing with you information relating to sacred geometry, and I'm going to give you the the sequence of events that basically resulted in the idea of religion on this planet. And I'm going to be talking more about the first immortals, the Nicole, and how they took efforts to preside themselves over certain aspects of reality, which is why many deities have certain properties, certain attributes by which they may be recognized. Love and light, everyone. As always, thank you for watching and love yourselves.